Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the tubosphere. Welcome to the One-Man Sports Rant. Gen 2.0. I am your host, Will, the alternative ESPN Sports Thrill. Specialize in college football, basketball, using our football prop mainly because it's our favorite one on set here. Also try to cover those other sorts of unique sporting events as they may come up. Alright, so don't change the channel. Basically, I'm going to time myself here. What am I getting at? Looked at the analytics of YouTube. My point being is there was like a 2-minute retention span. There's more highlights coming up, I promise. This is not a bait and switch program to where those opening clips are to lure you in and then I talk for the rest of the show. This is not a 15 minutes sports talk show. It's not a 15-minute sports highlight reel either. If you must get to the rest of the sports clips, I will give you a spoiler alert. This show may not be your cup of tea. You can always fast forward to the 8 to 10 minute mark. To be done, and I will explain, and you should stay tuned because I do keep the talk short, sweet, and interesting if not entertaining pursuant to the sports event being covered on each show. And you may learn something legal-wise about YouTube, because I used to run a law firm, so every time I get to educate the viewing public out there, I do so. Alright, so this is really kind of more like Gen 3.0. I finally got the uniform out from Generation 1. ESPN the magazine, they sent this out the first year, 1990, 91. I don't remember because I didn't get it. I took it as partial payment from one of my loser roommates back in the day. But it's so old, you know, it's got Made in America tag. Yeah, Made in America, clothing-wise. Who knew? Alright, so you heard from Accept, the original Balls to the Wall, as introduced by our lovely Pi Kappa Alpha Tau chapter, U of U, giving you props. House sweethearts. Alright, so why bother doing a show? Well, you do end up with a slightly longer highlight reel than you otherwise would. The clips coming up, they're not no 2 minutes or minute 15 or 39 seconds. These are all over YouTube for sure. If you want to do a longer highlight reel, you have to incorporate it within your own original content. It's also not infringing on the technical copyright of which there is a formula to. How? Well, it's a little thing called the DCMA. Digital Copyright Millennium Act. We adhere to a strict interpretation of the key tenets as they were hashed out through WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. These are the fair use standard, derivatives, minority use, and no money exchange in hands. There you go with your 4. Because the OMSR is a pro bono production. And, you know, more on the legal side of things, it has to be done more for our protection than it's going to be necessarily interesting for you. All images used by the OMSR were obtained from the public domain. So, if anybody out there is sort of like, hey, Will, you're using an image there that we kind of don't wish you wouldn't, watch my dust. I'll take it down and readjust it. Only thing that's kind of sucky about that is you lose all your hits on that show. And you re-upload it, well, there may not be as much interest in the subject. But what I just said is more important. And also, this show is copyrighted to the OMSR. Brief video highlights courtesy to CBS, Pac-12 Networks, ABC and their family networks, all at ESPN, Fox Sports, and all of their subsidiary networks, wherever applicable. FX, Fox Sports, West, so forth and so on. The OMSR does not own these video highlights, but does own all the other original content and the overall concept herein, thereof, therefore, most rights reserved. Alright, so also at the end of each show, pay attention to the end graphic. That's why I get to say it now, I don't have to say it every time. I put it up there. If you stay tuned long enough, you'll get one of our catchphrases carried over from Generation 1. But I put it up there to back that up It's a BAC chart from the state of California DMV. The state will throw the book at you if you get a DUI. So you can pause it, freeze frame it, check it out. X amount of drinks or X amount of time means no X amount of activity. Okay. Alright, so let's get to it. What is the sports subject that we are discussing a little bit further, other than what the title says?
Robert Griffin III at number 8.
Takes a snap, scrambles up the middle, breaks a tackle. He's to the 30, 35, 40, up the sideline 50. RG3 electrifying all the way into the end zone. RG3 for the touchdown. Can you believe it?
RG3 pressing the turbo button for a touchdown run against the Vikings. Second longest run by a quarterback in NFL history. Kordell Stewart had an 80-yarder in '96. Here's RG3 talking about the run afterwards.
Yeah, it was all a blur. You know, Coach Sean, the tight end coach, said he felt me run by him because of the gust of wind. I guess I was that fast. I don't know. What can I say? You know, I got to prove to those guys that I still have that track speed that they've been talking about or saying that I don't have. So, you know, I was able to break a long one. It always feels good when you can do that. I could see guys telling me I got the first, so they were saying, stay in bounds, slide. And I was kind of running like, I think I can get a little more. And then, you know, it all went from stop, stay in bounds to go, you know, go for the touchdown. And it was interesting to see the different reactions. You know, Larry Hess, our head trainer, was running down the sideline, said he was running the same 40 I was running. So, you know, a lot of guys had some made-up thoughts in their head, but, you know, it was cool.
Talk about some capital gains in D.C. Redskins won 38-26.